There are many things I love about being an indie author, but one of my favorite things has to do with the fact that I am friends with a lot of people who are also indie authors. And that means I get to support my friends and read good books, all combined into one. Today, I want to highlight 5 of my favorite indie books. Now, I have to be honest, I am the type of reader who I enjoy everything. I just enjoy the process of reading, so it is very rare for me to rate a book anything below 5 stars. And I mean that genuinely. I just really like to read. But I didn't want this video to be several hours, so I picked 5 of my top favorites. Let's go. While I'm listing these books in no particular order, The Boy Who Played Soldier and Christopher Reid live in my head rent-free. And Chris is a sassy, adorable, and absolutely hilarious 8-year-old. How could he not live in your head rent-free? The Boy Who Played Soldier is a historical fiction novel for middle grade readers. It follows 8-year-old Christopher Reid in his, we'll say, misadventures with working under the British General Snyder, or as Christopher calls him, General Snobby. Here's the back of the book. Feel free to pause and read, and let's dive into the next one. Jess was the last book I read in 2024, and I read it in practically a day. It is a murder mystery by Daphne Page, and it is about a group of teenagers who are living in a place in the middle of the woods called the Scurry. The problem is that there is a murderer on the loose, and every day wakes up with somebody else missing. Like I said, I could hardly put this down, and the twists at the end, you're going to be surprised, I promise. Here is the back of the book. Again, feel free to pause and read, and we'll dive into the next one. And this next one is very short, easy, 30-minute read. I told you this one could be read in 30 minutes, didn't I? The Flame Gifter by Mike Diener. This one actually has a bunch of sticky tabs in it because I used it for an essay last semester in college. I believe the exact prompt was to write about a good example of a piece of literature that has some sort of big lesson in it. In this case, the lesson proposed as a question here is, how do you move forward when you have no purpose? While I finish talking, you can feel free to pause and read. The Flame Gifter is a very powerful story that Mike Diener has published with the hope of encouraging people. It is, if I'm remembering correctly, just $5 for this paperback book. It is a great read. You can get it easily added to your Goodreads goal. Pick this one up, all right? Just trust me on that one. Drafted by Tommy Michelle has got to be considered a must-read. Now, technically, Drafted isn't an indie book, but it is published by Descendant Publishing, which is an independently owned publishing house. So therefore, it counts enough in my book, and I want to highlight it anyway. Drafted is book 1 in a duology. The second book is titled Undrafted, and it follows Reverie Adams and TJ Collins in a dystopian book with high stakes, lots of suspense, plot twists, a little bit of romance, and pretty much everything else that makes the book good, okay? I couldn't put this one down. I was absolutely flying through it, counting down the days as soon as I finished for Undrafted to come out. It is a must read. Now, the second book actually has 3 point of views, so the third point of view in the book might have been one of my favorites, but you'll have to read to figure out who gets that point of view. Feel free to pause, and let's dive into the final book. The Rise of the Raiden is book 1 in a very large series, so while I'm highlighting just one book, I encourage you to dive into all of the books in the Human-Born era. The Rise of the Raiden by Susan L. Markloff. If I'm remembering correctly, it is categorized as urban fantasy. It is book 1 in the Human-Born era, but if that's not enough for you, there are also 6 novellas that take place. They're titled as the Human-Born Chronicles, and in technical reading order, you read the first 2 books here, then the novellas, then you continue with book 3 in the Human-Born era. I have currently read the first 2 of the Human-Born era and then all of the Chronicles, and I am very excited to dive into the 3rd book in the series, which title I'm blanking on at the moment. I'm very excited to read it next. We have dragons, we have plot twists, we have romance, we have found family, we have, again, every good thing you could possibly want in a book. And not to mention, there are illustrations in the back. And again, I just keep adding things here at this point. Let me show you the blurb while I finish telling you here that The Rise of the Raiden has already been adapted into a graphic novel, and Susan is working on the process of developing book 2. Yes, book 2 is the next one she's doing, The Ties That Bind, into a graphic novel very soon. There's also a coloring book with characters. I mean, if you want a series that is going to be sticking around for a while and having you on the edge of your seat and all of the emotions, because one of the Human-Born Chronicles had me bawling, this is the series for you. And that concludes my list of what I'm technically calling my 5 favorite indie books. But if you want a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, I will absolutely be able to fill those videos with plenty of more indie book recommendations. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I will have information down below on where you can purchase all of these books. But for now, whatever time it is, morning, evening, or night, have a great day.